Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. My name is Jodie, and today we're going to be doing something completely different. We're going to talk about how I became who I am today and how I found the confidence to start a YouTube channel. So today I want to talk to you and tell you my story and how I gained the confidence that I have, and talk about the journey that I'm on, and hopefully inspire you guys to move forward in your life, gain more confidence, and to join me on this journey of self-love, self-confidence, and loving plus size fashion. So if you're interested and you're intrigued, stay tuned and keep watching. So I was a normal size baby, and so I've got some pictures here to show you. So we're going to go through sort of my life and how I got to where I am, and yeah, wanting to, you know, inspire other women, because I feel like I have a story to tell, and if I can change one person's life for the better, that would mean so much to me. And I find that there's so many people that we follow nowadays on social media, and their life looks all glossy and fancy, and you never see another side to them, or you never see the backstory. So for me, I wanted to do this video so I could give you sort of the backstory of how I came about wanting to do this YouTube channel, and you know, I want to be able to have people relate to me. So this is me as a baby. I was a normal sized baby and happy. I've got four brothers and two sisters. I grew up with three brothers, so me and my three brothers. And when I was little, I was like a normal little girl who loves sort of, you know, like dressing up, putting lipstick on, wearing dresses. So let's see if I can find one for you. I loved wearing I don't know if you can see that there, but a belly top and showing a bit of a belly. So this age, I would say I was starting to get a little bit more chubby, but I wasn't self-conscious at this age. I didn't even think about it. I just was like all the other girls, and you know, wore a belly top and stuff. I loved fashion. I can tell I love fashion. I love to pose. I can see here in this picture, posing against the door. Yeah, so at that age, my weight didn't really, you know, didn't really bother me. Not that I can remember anyway. And then I started getting a little bit older, and I had a bit of like child trauma. We had some sort of things going on in our family, and my mum suffered really badly with her mental health, due to like some family affair stuff. And yeah, so my mum started to I started to see that my mum was suffering with her mental health, and then it started to change, and I started to gain weight. So I don't know if you can see in this picture here, I'm sort of looking a little bit more chubbier here. Sorry, the lighting's not great. So I started to gain weight, and I started to have a bad sorry, I haven't that because I'm trying to think, because I really want this to be from the heart and I want it to be real. But I started to gain a bad relationship with food, because I felt like I used food as a comfort, and I gained weight. So yeah, so I was going through sort of some childhood trauma, sort of like seeing my mum go through mental health. And as you can see, I started to gain um weight. This is an awful picture, but as I gained weight, I lost my self-confidence, and my brothers used to take the mick out of me. They always used to call me fatty fatty boom boom, and I know they probably did it harmlessly, because some children don't realize what effect that will have on another child, to call them fatso and call them fatty, and what other words there are out there. But yeah, so I started to gain weight, and then I started to then feel self-conscious about myself, and started to realize, I'm not like the rest of my friends. And I've always had a big personality. I still have, and I always have. But I used to take the mick out of myself before anyone else could. And it really does. I was looking through some of these pictures of myself, and I just thought I really used to take the mick out of myself and let other people do it as well. So this doesn't help that my friend, when I was younger, she was small. So I look extra big, but I was a big girl. So if you can see in this picture here, I started to get extremely bigger than my friends, my peers. But my friend was quite small. So, but anyway, so I was, yeah, that's a picture of her and I. But then I was looking at these pictures, and I was like, oh my God, like, just reminiscing and looking back at these pictures. And then I came across this picture. So yeah, so I came across this next picture, and I was like, okay, that's funny. My friend pretending to try and lift me up, and obviously she's like struggling to pick me up. And then I came across this picture where I'm picking her up like I'm Hercules. And I know probably at the time it was just all a bit of like, laughter, a bit of fun. But looking back, it actually really makes me think that, you could really see, I can really see that we made a big deal out of me being so big. And yeah, and the reason why I say this is because obviously these two pictures I looked at, but then I came across another picture when I was 16. So in this picture, I don't know how old I was in these pictures, but I would say I was probably about 11 in this picture. So I was a big old girl. And then I came across another picture with another friend of mine when I was 16. And I thought, like, was my weight just a running joke? Like, was it that much of a joke that we just all sort of took the piss all the time, basically? And I took the piss out of myself so that it wouldn't be so bad if somebody else did it. So yeah, so this is another picture on my 16th birthday. And I know it was my 16th birthday because my friend cut a bit of cake and put some candles in, yeah, of me. Oh my God, look at me. I mean, growing up, obviously as a young girl, I didn't feel any different to any of the other children. But then as I grew up, I started to obviously get bigger and have a bad relationship with food. And I started to realise I was different from the other girls. And I couldn't get clothes that I wanted to get. And I would stay around my friend's house and have a sleepover, and they would all be trying on each other's clothes and stuff. And I'd just be sitting back and just saying, yeah, that's nice. And just sort of, not being able to participate in sort of doing that. And also, like, I never really wanted to, when I got to sort of the teenage years where my friends wanted to go out clubbing, I never really wanted to go because there was no clothes for me. There was nothing nice. I remember going to a club in a man's shirt because I had no other clothes that I could wear as a young girl. So I'm so thankful now that there's so many brands out there that are acknowledging that all women come in shapes and sizes, all girls come in shapes and sizes, and no matter what, we don't deserve to be treated any less, and we don't deserve not to have fashionable clothes because we are a different shape to any other person. So I'm just so thankful that now the girls growing up nowadays, whether they have got a bit more weight to them or whatever issue there is, they are able, or they're just meaty, they, you know, but they're able to access the clothes and be hip and, you know, look good and feel good. So yeah, so that's one thing that I, you know, I struggled with growing up, you know, feeling like I can't wear anything that the other girls wear. And I really sort of went into myself, and here's another picture of me in secondary school. So yeah, so that's me in secondary school. So I really, really went into myself. I remember a day in school. I went to an all-girls school, and I remember the girls used to go out the school gates, and they used to wait for the boys from the local boys' school, and they used to come down and sort of talk to the girls, and I never would go out there. And I remember one day I went out there, and there was loads of boys out there, and I was thinking, oh my God, let me just quickly go home, because I didn't feel comfortable around boys. I felt really insecure about myself, and I used to feel that, you know, I don't know, I just didn't want to be around them. And I remember one day going home, and these group of boys running behind me shouting, "Oi, fatso, oi, you fat monster, like you look like the honey monster." And honestly, like my heart just sank, and it was awful. I used to go home, and I used to sit in my bed, and I used to like say to God, why am I like this? Why did you make me like this? And I remember getting all teary. I remember being 14 years old, and I wrote this thing called Fatso, basically writing about myself and how I just wish I could just get a knife and just cut the fat off, just so that I could be like everybody else and I didn't stand out. So bear in mind, I was plus size, so I was a bigger girl. I have always been tall. I'm really, really tall. My mum was tall. And I've got big feet. So I not only was, you know, a chubby girl, I was really tall. So I stood out that way. And I had really big feet. So I used to wear boys' loafer shoes to school because there was no girl shoes in my size. I think when I was in secondary school, I was about a size 8.5, 9, and there were no shoes. So I used to have to wear boys' loafers. So literally, like, all of this is just like traumatizing. Like, it really did traumatize me. And obviously going through sort of like seeing your mum go through mental health wasn't good. So yes, I was growing up with all these sort of issues and stuff. And I remember thinking to myself that, you know, and I still believe now that when people, you know, say, oh, you know, just lose weight, like nobody knows people's underlying issues or the reason why they are bigger than anyone else. And my mum, I know it's being plus size, being a bigger woman is in my genes. My mum was a big woman. My mum's sisters are all big. My mum's mum was, you know, was a bigger woman. So I know that it's in my genes to be a plus size girl. But, you know, I just didn't understand why people would just say, just lose weight, just don't eat that. Because how I see it and how I've always seen it, that if, you know, I'm not speaking for every plus size person, I'm speaking for myself, that I, you know, I have a bad relationship with food. When I'm stressed out, when I'm sad, I I turn and I'll eat. And there's some people that'll be like, oh no, I can't eat. My friends will be like, I can't eat when I'm stressed. And I'm like, that's not me. So yeah, and I always used to think that, it's not, it's not, it's easy said than done, basically. Like, just go on a diet. And I do think that when you have a bad relationship with food, it is just as bad as someone being addicted to drugs or someone being addicted to alcohol. And I don't care what anyone says, I will stand by that, because, you know, and sometimes I feel that, like, maybe having a food, people that have food issues, sometimes I feel that it's harder than being addicted to drugs or being an alcoholic, because you can just go teetotal with drugs and alcohol. You don't need it, where we need food. So it's like, you know, having to reprogram yourself and really dig deep and restructure yourself to find the right balance. Whereas with alcohol and drugs, you can just stop, go cold turkey. Whereas food, we need food to live. So I've always said that, having a drug addiction or having being an alcoholic is easier. Or I'm not saying it's easier, but I just think that when you have, some underlying issue or bad relationship with food, I do feel, and I've always felt like it's harder because we need food to live. So, but anyway, so yeah, so that's sort of, what my life was growing up. I sort of grew to have a bit of a bad relationship with food, and I went through a bit of childhood trauma, and that really did affect me as I grew into a teenager. And so I was looking at some more pictures, and okay, so as I grew into a teenager, I'd do all sorts. I'd starve myself, try to starve myself, stick my fingers down my throat. I'd just try and do anything just to try and be slim, to try and get some weight off. And people just be like, "Oh, you just don't eat that." Oh, yeah, yeah, no. And my friends, they'd be really slim and be like, "Oh my God, I feel so fat today." And just all these little things used to make me feel really bad. I had one friend that's all she used to do was be like, "I feel so fat today," and she was like a size 0. And I used to just think, my God, like, how she feels like that. Like, how does she make me feel when she says things like that? So I do think that in the world today, we all need to be very cautious about what we say to other people, and how we, just how we are with other people, because the smallest thing can affect somebody. So yeah, I think it's such a big deal. But growing into a teenager, I then started to take slimming tablets. And then I came across these. So in these pictures, I would say I'm probably about 19, 20, and I managed to lose a hell load of weight by basically taking slimming tablets, and I just didn't eat. And they just sort of made you feel like you were like buzzing around, basically. So yeah, so I lost weight like that. And I've got a big smile on my face. Was I happy? No, because when I look at these pictures, I'm like, oh my God, I look so slim. But at the time, I still felt that I was fat. I still felt like it wasn't good enough. I just felt like I was still big. So, and it's only until I look back at pictures and go, oh, blimey, So yeah, so my weight was up and down, and I've got some more pictures here. This is me on my first holiday. So yeah, literally my weight was just up and down, and my fashion sense was not great, because there was just nowhere to buy or access clothes for me to feel great. I think that wearing clothes and having something on to make you feel great, and you look at yourself in the mirror and be like, yeah, I look good and feel comfortable. I think it does a lot for your self-confidence. So yeah, so that was my life growing up. And then I became a mum. I met my children's dad and I became a mum. And I literally constantly lived in leggings, black tops, and I just used to hide. I'd forever be sitting there pulling my top down, and just feeling uncomfortable with myself. And yeah, I became a mum, and then I gained a love from my children that, you know, I'd never felt before. Like the way they would put their arms around me and say, "Mummy, I love you." It just felt like nothing I'd felt before. I know that sort of like you grow up and you have your parents, but my mum did cuddle me and tell me that she loved me. But then that was earlier on when I was really young. But then my mum started to have some mental health issues, and so, you know, sort of things did change. But yeah, I mean, having your own child really does, show you what true love is. And so one day I thought to myself, my God, like the way my children see me, the way they love me, the way they put their arms around me, why can't I love myself like that? Like, I can't keep going through my life feeling like I'm not good enough or not loving myself, looking in the mirror and literally being repulsed. I used to look in the mirror and just be like, ugh. Every part of me, I just used to think, ugh, it's disgusting. And that's how I used to feel. And I don't feel, and I don't wish that on anyone. I don't think anybody, no matter what your shape, what your colour of your skin is, what your shape is, man, woman, girl, boy, I don't think anyone should ever look at themselves and be disgusted by themselves. So then in 2014, I came across an ad on TV advertising for plus size women in the UK to enter a plus size pageant for Miss Plus Size United Kingdom 2015. This was at the end of 2014, and it was my brother actually who was like, Jodie, you should really do that. You should do it. You're so bubbly. You'd be so good at it. And I was like, no, I'm not gonna. No, I can't do that. No. And he was like, do it. You'd be really, really good at it. And at this point, I was really working on myself. I was trying to eat healthier. And just trying to gain more confidence, and obviously just trying to like love myself like the way and try and see myself the way my children saw me. And so I decided to enter it. I applied, and then I got called for the audition, and I was just, I couldn't believe it. I was so shocked. I did not think that I would get called for an audition. And when I got to, it was in London, and it was amazing because I just got dressed up, tried to find the fanciest clothes I could find. And I didn't know what to think, and I didn't know what it was going to be like. But I got there and I walked in, and there was so many plus size women. I tell you, I have never ever felt so comfortable to be somewhere in my whole entire life. I walked in and there was all of these beautiful plus size women with great big smiles. They were all dressed up fancy. It was amazing. And we got there and we done some sort of team building skills and getting to know each other. So they put us in groups so we could get to know each other. And I was in a group, and we all went round and said our name, and we just told each other our stories. And it was the first time, it was like, oh my God, I'm not alone in this world. Like, I'm not the only person that's grew up with, having the issues or having gone through what I had gone through. I wasn't alone with sort of wearing boys' shoes, or I wasn't alone with only having to wear baggy men's t-shirts, and yeah, it was great. It was like, I can't even explain it, but at that point, I just felt like I'm not alone in this world. And it just felt great. It really did. So yeah, so I'd done the audition and they said to me, they asked me a few questions and they just said, if you tell us something different about yourself. And I was like, I'm tall, and I'm plus size, but I've got size 10 feet and I haven't met anybody that's got size 10 feet. And they just started laughing and they said, like, if you made it big and you won and you became an ambassador to represent plus size women, or if there was something that you think there's lacking in the plus size industry, what would you do? And straight away, I was like, I would make more bigger shoes for plus size women, for women with wider feet, bigger feet, because that is something that now, because obviously in 2014, we did start sort of seeing more brands do plus size clothes. And yeah, so plus size clothes was moving up then, and we was getting a little bit more fashionable stuff for us. So yeah, but shoes was just not the one. There was hardly anything, and I was still having problems with finding shoes to fit me. Nice shoes basically that I wanted to wear, not that I just felt like I have to wear. And I'd gone through my whole life doing that, wearing stuff that I just bought because it was the only thing available to me basically. So yeah, and yeah, so I had a great day, and I come home and I was buzzing, and I told everyone about it and just said it was so amazing. And then they just said, yeah, we'll get back to you and let you know if you make the finals. And 2 weeks later, I got a phone call saying that I was one of the finalists, and I literally, like, I couldn't believe it, because this was Miss Plus Size United Kingdom. So there was like, I would say about 1,000 plus size women from all over the UK. I met people from Scotland. I've made really good friends and long friends that now, I'll never forget that experience with them. And yeah, so I met women from all over the UK. And so these are the women that were the finalist for Miss Plus Size United Kingdom 2015. And this was the programme. So yeah, so this was the programme that was made for the night's event. So what happened was I made the final, I was a finalist, and then a few months later, the women that got chosen, we all went to like a boot camp, and we all had self-confident classes, how to be self-confident, how to talk in front of a camera, or if you're having an interview, how to talk doing an interview. What else did we do? Yeah, we done catwalk classes, and we basically just mingled and got to know each other, and really just told each other our stories in depth. And it was great because we kind of all stayed in dormitories and we shared rooms and we tried on each other's clothes. I got to do things that I never got to do with my friends as a child. Like we all tried on each other's clothes, and we done a catwalk show in the evening. We had drinks and there was breakfast every morning, and we done team building skills. It was amazing. It was like one of the best times in my life. It was a life-changing experience. It really was. So whilst at the boot camp, because obviously initially on the day of the auditions, we didn't get to mingle with everybody. We just was put in our groups, and obviously we got to know the groups that we were in. But then when we went to the boot camp, which was a few months later, then obviously we got to meet all of the finalists, and girls and women that weren't in our groups on the audition day. We all stayed together in a big massive sort of country house. I can't remember where it was. I think it was in Cornwall. And yeah, so we all got to know each other more because we were staying with each other, and it was fun. The majority of the women were lovely. There were women and some girls. I think the youngest contestant was maybe like 17 or 18. And I have to say that there was some bitchiness, which I did not think there would be, because, you know, we're all plus size women and we're all rooting for the same thing. We're all doing this to build our self-confidence and to show the world that we're no less than any other women. We are just as beautiful. We can be just as beautiful, and we can wear what we want, you know. So I didn't expect there to be bitchiness, but there was. I did get that, because I had a few comments made to me that, oh, you're not even plus size. Now, I've been through my whole life going up and down through my weight, going up and down, having an eating disorder. I would call it an eating disorder. And so although I entered the pageant, and when I entered the pageant, I had managed to get my weight I was about a size 20. And then getting into boot camp, I was about size 18, 20. So I'm still plus size. But because I'm tall, I'm very tall. I'm nearly 5. I'm like 5'10" and a half, 5'11". Maybe I don't look as, you know, every woman, you know, is different. A woman could say they're a size 20, and another woman could say they're size 20, and they can look completely different. One can look smaller or bigger than the other, because we're all built in different ways. You know, we hold our weight in different places. You know, some people have they hold their weight more in their upper arms or upper body, and there's other people that hold it in their tummy area, or there's people that haven't got it in their tummy area and they've got it more at the back, in their bottom and their legs. We all hold our weight in different ways. And there were some girls were like, you're not even plus size, like you don't even deserve to be here. And it really hurt my feelings, because I felt like I so deserve to be there. You know, I have lived a life of feeling insecure, being teased for my size, having an eating disorder. And although I wasn't one of the biggest there at the time, I had been, you know, I had been a size 26, 28, you know, and even if I had lost weight, what does that matter? I was still a plus size girl. So I felt like I had every right to be there just as much as any of the other women or any of the other girls. So yeah, there was a little bit of bitchiness, which was awful. It was horrible. But the majority of the women were really, really lovely and outgoing, and I really did make some great friends, and I learned a lot about myself, and I gained so much. We all helped each other to gain so much confidence. And I don't think without this experience, I don't know if I would be here talking to you guys and telling my story and, you know, trying to inspire others. I would have hoped that I would have found my way there somehow, but entering this pageant really did change my life. So on the actual day, as I said, we were all very excited. We all headed up to Manchester, and we had to have 3 rounds. And yeah, I was literally petrified at the thought of stepping out onto a stage where there would be not only my friends and family, you know, the best part of my family had never seen me, you know, half naked. So to stand and do a catwalk down the runway with swimwear on in front of hundreds of other people that I do not know, I was shaking in my boots. Like, I was so scared. I was so scared, but I just knew I had to do it. And I just found the confidence and the courage from somewhere, and was just like, Jodie, do it. Like, do it. This will, you know, this will change you. And so, yeah, so I did it. And I'll tell you something, as I stepped out, like my legs felt like they wanted to go from beneath me, but everybody just started cheering, and, you know, cheering, and I could hear everybody clapping and cheering me on. And I just got this feeling of, oh, it was amazing. It literally was amazing. I was shaking, but when I come off the stage and I got behind, I was like, oh my God, I can't believe I just did this. But it was such a great feeling. It was amazing. I would recommend anybody to do something like that. Literally step out of your comfort zone today. I'm telling you, it will do wonders for your confidence. It will really make you see a different side to yourself, that and discover a different side to yourself that you've been hiding or been keeping down for so long, that deserves to be out, that deserves to be free. Like, you deserve to feel happy in yourself, you deserve to have confidence, and you deserve to feel like, you know, whatever your body looks like, no matter if there's a part of your body that you know you dislike more than another part, you still deserve to feel, you know, comfortable in your own skin. And so yeah, so doing this catwalk and doing this pageant really did, it just done wonders for me. We went around and then we had to run back. So we'd done rehearsals throughout the day and got used to the stage, so we knew where we was going and what we was doing. And behind the scenes, it was literally, there was like runners, people coming to get you. So it's your turn, you need to go on now. And it was amazing. And yeah, so I run behind, quickly had to take my swimwear off and get my casual wear on and get my casual look. So yeah, so I went out and did my casual look, and I had to have an outfit for an evening look. And yeah, we needed something great, fabulous, something that represented us, something that really expressed who we was, that showed who we were as a person. And while I was in the pageant in 2015, sadly, my dad passed away, and I was going to pull out of the pageant, but my whole family was just like, Jode, don't do it. Like, Daddy would be so proud of you if you did it. So just carry on. And I think hence why I lost a little bit more weight, because in my whole life, being depressed, I've always sort of like ate more. But when my dad passed away, I couldn't eat. Sorry, I don't want to cry. So yeah, so I was gonna pull out, but my family was like, no, Jodie, don't do it, stay in it. You know, this has done such good for you. Like, this has been so good for you, and Daddy would be so proud of you. So just keep doing it. So yeah, so I did lose a little bit more weight, and that's why I kind of got Dad to size 18, because I'd lost my dad during the time of being in the pageant. And so for the evening wear, I thought, what can I do? What can I wear? Like, so I just was brainstorming and, you know, working out what can I wear for, you know, the finale dress. And I was looking, you know, looking online and looking at different dresses, and they were lovely. There were some really lovely dresses, but I just felt like I wanted to do something to, I wanted to do something in remembrance of my dad, because obviously he'd passed away in the time that I was in the pageant. And so I decided to get a dress made in African print, to represent the African side of me. So I am mixed race, and my mum is white English. She had some Spanish in her, but she was British. And my dad was West African. He was half Nigerian and half Ghanaian. So I wanted to do something to represent and to like be a tribute to him. So yeah, so I had a dress made in African print and I wore it. And the last question they asked me was, you know, what has this pageant, when we went down the when I went down the runway and we came back up, every girl or every woman was asked at the top, as just before they were going to come off, what has this pageant done for you? What, you know, and I just stood there and I stuttered, and you know, I didn't get my words out properly, but from what I remember saying, I just said that in 30, how old was I? 32, I think I was at the time, or 31. In 31 years of my life, I can stand here today for the first time in my whole life and say, I love me and I love what I look like and I love who I am. And that was the first time I've ever said to myself, I love myself. Like, I literally got choked up like I'm now because it's so emotional just thinking about it. And everybody just screamed and cheered and it was just emotional. And I come off the stage and I felt like I don't need to win this. I've already won because I found myself and I'm happy. And I've never ever felt this happy in my life. Yeah, I'm really sorry about that. But yeah, just speaking about this really has like brought up so many raw memories for me. And yeah, literally you know, all of the torture that I put myself through for not feeling good enough, and just, yeah, the torture I put myself through, literally just felt like at that moment, you know, when they asked me, you know, what has this pageant brought to you? And, you know, it literally felt like, jump, it felt like weight just dropped off of me and everybody just started cheering. And as I said, I come off that stage and I was in tears, and I said to myself that I don't need to win this pageant because I feel like I've won already. If I never won, I just felt that I'd won. I didn't need to win to feel like I'd won. So yeah, when I came off of the stage, I literally felt to myself that after that, you know, whatever the outcome, I just felt like I have really taken and I've gained so much from this. I've made some amazing friends. I've learned some stories, and it's made me feel like I'm not alone. And yeah, I literally just, yeah, it was amazing. So anyway, we then had to stand behind the curtain, all of us girls that took part in the pageant, and they called the fourth person, and then they called the third person, and then they called the second person, and my name wasn't called, and I just stood behind and I was just like, it doesn't matter, Jode, it doesn't matter. And then they was like, and the winner is, and it just was like, it felt like it was going for ages. And then they just said my name, and I could not believe it. Like, I burst into tears. I came out and I felt like I was going to fall. It was amazing. I'll put the clip in now. And my little boy literally jumped up onto the stage and just grabbed hold of me. It was like a picture perfect moment. Like, I never knew that was going to happen.
2015. Please, man. The winner is...
So yeah, so I won and I was crowned Miss Plus Size United Kingdom. I can't even balance it on my head because I've got my hair. But I was crowned Miss Plus Size United Kingdom 2015/16. And literally, I couldn't believe it. I was a princess. I literally grew up and felt like the ugly frog, the honey monster that the boys called me, and the torture that I put myself through. And me, Jodie, I literally... So this is my crown, which I keep in the cupboard. And I haven't looked at it in ages, but I pulled it out for this video because I wanted to tell you guys my story. So yeah, so I was crowned Miss Plus Size United Kingdom 2015/16, and I got this was my prize. I won a cruise to Caribbean islands. This was all of the things that I won. There was like a big fat goodie bag with like loads of stuff in. It was amazing. Which loads of people sponsored it. Like the whole pageant itself was sponsored by so many people, and there was just loads of stuff. Yeah, and obviously I won a modelling contract, a year's modelling contract, which was great. So I went on to do some modelling, which was amazing. I got to model for brands such as ASOS, Simply Be, and many more, loads of American brands. Yeah, it was just amazing. Oh, and this is me on the front of the Curvy Convention 2016 event guide. So the Curvy Convention was an event that was made, was put together basically for all plus size brands. Walked at this event, and I did it 2 years in a row actually, which was amazing. So yeah, and I did the front of a magazine cover for Big Girls Paradise, BGP magazine. So that's me on the front, and there's a whole section in here about me winning the pageant and how it's changed my life. So yeah, that was amazing, really amazing. And then yeah, I went on to do some modelling, as I said. I did a lot of wedding dresses, and I have been featured quite a few times in the wedding books. Here I am here, you can see me, which is a lovely picture. And I think there's another one. Was there another one in here? Oh yeah, there's another one of me there, if you can see here. So plus size girls being included in everything. We also get married. We also find men that love us. There are men out there that love plus size women. So yeah, it was a big thing for me to do this, because I'm obviously divorced now, but when I got married, I literally had a nightmare trying to find wedding dress. So yeah, I mean, doing this was like a big thing, and it made me feel like I want to get married again, just so I could just wear a lovely dress of yeah, of my dreams. And here I am again, if you can see here, and there's a little bit about the brands that I modelled for, and that was for Sydney's Closet, and they're amazing. They're an American brand, and they flew all the way over, and I worked with them at the bridal show, and it was amazing. So yeah, so that is my story, and so that's what's brought me to where I am today. Unfortunately, you know, I done the year modelling contract, and sadly, due to like some health issues with myself, and then my mum sadly passed away, I haven't done as much modelling as I'd like to. So I know this has been a really long video, but I really wanted to share my story, and I really wanted, you know, all of this that you see, you know, the hair, the makeup, I'm not like this every day. I can't physically do it every day, but I do this because I really enjoy it, and I really want to spread the word. I want to encourage other women to, you know, step out of their comfort zone and find confidence that maybe they are lacking, or feel that they can't do it because of whatever reason. I want to tell you today that you can. I hope that this message, you know, really resonates with you, and that just for you to know that you are not alone. We are all going through something in our lives, no matter if people display it or not. Behind the curtains, behind closed doors, somebody is always going through something that people don't know about. So my message to you is just be kind to others, and be kind to yourself. accept who you are and start loving yourself today. Work on yourself slowly, day by day, and eventually you will get there. Join me on my journey, and we'll get there together. So I hope that you guys enjoyed this long video, that you enjoyed listening to the backstory of who I am and how I come about and why I'm doing what I'm doing. I really do hope that it will inspire somebody today. I hope that you enjoyed it, and I hope that you will visit my channel again. But for now, stay home, stay safe, and God bless. Mwah. Bye guys.